Hey there. So, if you or someone you care about has just been told they have macular degeneration, you know that it can feel, well, pretty confusing and honestly, a little scary. So, today, we're going to break it all down. We're going to demystify the two main types, dry and wet AMD.
It almost always starts with something tiny, something you can just brush off, right? You think, oh, it's just been a long day, or the lighting in here is terrible. You might see something weird, like the tiles on the bathroom floor suddenly look bent, and your first thought is, I'm just tired. It'll be fine tomorrow.
But what if it's not just tired eyes? That's the big question, isn't it? Because sometimes those little subtle shifts, they're actually the first warning sign that something more is going on inside our eyes. It's that moment you realize, wow, my vision, I can't just take it for granted anymore. Okay, so let's dive right into the diagnosis. Age-Related Macular Degeneration, or AMD for short. What is this stuff, and what are the two main types you really need to understand?
So here's the thing. AMD isn't about your entire eye. It's all about one tiny but super important spot called the macula. Think of it as the high-definition part of your eye. It's what you use for all the sharp, detailed stuff, reading a menu, seeing a friend's face across the room, you name it. When the macula gets damaged, the very center of your vision can get blurry, even while your peripheral, or side vision, stays perfectly fine.
All right, if you remember one thing, let it be this 10-second difference. Think of dry AMD as a slow, gradual thing, kind of like wear and tear from tiny waste deposits building up over time. But wet AMD, that's fast. It's caused by leaky blood vessels that pop up where they're not supposed to be. It's really like one whispers and the other one shouts.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty here. Dry AMD? That's the one most people have. We're talking 8 or 9 out of every 10 cases. It moves slowly over years, and it's caused by these little yellow deposits called drusen. You can just think of them as tiny bits of cellular garbage building up. Now, wet AMD is the less common one, but it's the one you have to watch out for because it's more severe. And the biggest difference? Look at the speed. Dry AMD takes years. Wet AMD can happen in just days or weeks. That's why that sudden symptom of wavy lines is such a red flag.
All right, let's talk about what is, for many people, the hardest part of all this: the treatment, the costs, and, yes, insurance. I know it can feel super overwhelming, but stick with me. We're going to break it down into simple, manageable pieces. This quote, wow, it just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? The main treatment for wet AMD is, injections in the eye. And let's just be real for a second. That sounds terrifying. No one's going to say it's fun. But the message here is so powerful. It's not about the procedure being comfortable. It's about what you're fighting for, what you're trying to save.
Okay, this is absolutely crucial. With wet AMD, speed is everything. Knowing when to pick up the phone is so important. So if you suddenly notice new wavy or crooked lines, or a brand new dark or blank spot right in the middle of your vision, or your sight gets noticeably worse over just a few days, that is not a wait-and-see moment. That is a call your doctor right now moment.
So what exactly are in these injections? They're a type of medicine called anti-VEGF. And here's the simple way to think about it. Your body's trying to fix a problem by growing new blood vessels. But it's not doing a great job. They're weak and they leak. This medicine basically tells those bad blood vessels to stop growing. It blocks the signal. This lets your eye dry out and heal. And honestly, for so many people, these shots have been a total game changer, turning what used to be near-certain vision loss into a story of hope.
Okay, let's talk money. The sticker price for these drugs can make your jaw drop. But what you actually pay is usually a completely different story. It really truly all comes down to your insurance plan. As you can see, if you're on Medicare Part B with a Medigap plan, your cost could be pretty low, maybe even zero. But with a Medicare Advantage plan or a private one from your job, it can be all over the place. The absolute key here is to understand your own plan and ask a ton of questions before you get that first bill.
So, to make that call to your insurance company way less painful, here's a little 3-step cheat sheet. First, have your diagnosis notes right in front of you. Which type, which eye. Second, know the name of the medicine your doctor wants to use. And third, just have your insurance card out. Seriously, being this prepared can turn a frustrating half-hour call into a quick 10-minute get-it-done call. The big takeaway here is that yes, the treatment might sound scary, but it works. And figuring out your insurance ahead of time is the best way to avoid any nasty surprises.
Okay, we've talked about the diagnosis, we've talked about the treatment. Now, let's talk about what you can do.
This is my favorite part, because this is all about taking back control. It's about shifting from being a patient to being the CEO of your own vision.
Think of this as a super quick 60-second check-in. Just run through these questions. And hey, if you answer yes to any of them, please don't panic. It doesn't mean you're doomed, not at all. It just means you're in a group of people who really benefit from getting regular eye exams. A yes here isn't a diagnosis, it's just a friendly nudge to be proactive and make those appointments a priority.
This is so important because you want to put your energy where it's actually going to make a difference, right? The internet is just flooded with so-called miracle cures. But the real science? It points to a few key things. Quitting smoking is massive. It can literally double your risk. Eating a diet with lots of leafy greens and fish, keeping your blood pressure in check, and wearing good sunglasses, those are the heavy hitters. Those are the things that actually move the needle, way more than some fancy, expensive superfood berry or a special blue light glasses.
We all know how it is. You wait forever for the doctor, and then you get, 7 minutes? It feels so rushed. So to make every single second count, you have to come in with a plan. A quick list of any vision changes you've noticed, a list of your current meds, and here's the secret weapon. Have your single most important question written down and ready to go. This one little trick can turn a blurry, rushed appointment into a super focused strategy session.
I just love this quote. It just rearranged who owned them. That's so perfect. It really gets to the power of being prepared. You're not being a difficult patient when you bring in a little piece of paper. You're actually making it easier for the doctor to help you. You're taking charge of the conversation. And the bottom line is, you have to be your own best advocate. A few minutes of prep beforehand can totally change the game for your care.
Okay, we have covered a ton of ground. We've gone all the way from that initial fear of a diagnosis to building a focused plan. So let's wrap up by talking about your immediate next steps. Because remember, knowledge is great, but it's those small, consistent actions that are your absolute best tools. So before you go anywhere, I've got a challenge for you. Here are 3 super simple things you can do right now in the next 15 minutes. First, do a quick vision check. Just cover one eye, then the other, and look at something with straight lines. Second, grab your phone and save your eye clinic and insurance numbers as favorites. Do it now. And third, open up the Notes app on your phone and start a new note. Title it My AMD Year, and just write one sentence about how your vision is today. See? These tiny little actions, they build momentum. They're the first step in creating a real system for your eye health.
Look, at the end of the day, this isn't about solving everything all at once. That's impossible. It's about choosing one small, totally manageable thing you can do today. Maybe it's making that phone call you've been putting off. Maybe it's just adding spinach to your grocery list. Or maybe it's starting that vision log we just talked about. So my question for you is, what small step will you take today to focus on your vision? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.